Inputs shared by investigations editor Manoj Gupta. This is a CNN News 18 mega exclusive. Top security sources have informed us here at CNN News 18 that India's core interest lies in rapid de-escalation to avoid prolonged conflict. We want everyone to pursue back-channel engagement with both Washington, Tel Aviv and Tehran. Situation is extremely fluid because of multi-wave strikes and leadership status uncertainty. That's the input coming in. Let's quickly take that forward with Sanjay. Sanjay, remember, Iran still holds on to the biggest bargaining chip, which is the Strait of Hormuz. They have enough naval assets to block that strait. And remember, that's going to also impact the overall energy needs of the world, given that they could very well be blocking oil tankers supplying energy to not just China, Europe, even the United States.
Well, it is doubtful that they have enough of a naval force to block that strait for very long. The next step most certainly is going to be a naval warfare or air-to-naval warfare around that strait. And there will be a lot of firepower aimed at Iranian naval assets in the region, if that hasn't begun already. Clearly, that will be the aim of the Iranian Navy and of the Iranian government. But the US and Israeli forces would know that that is a plan, and they would have an arrangement and a plan in place to counter it. That is almost certainly underway. It's very necessary to keep that strait clear. There is also a limit to the number of Iranian naval assets. They have a few destroyers. They have also a level of submarine fleet, perhaps I believe about 17 submarines. Not the most sophisticated, but certainly they are there in place and they can block this for a considerable time, but perhaps not for very long. So timing is of the essence. The speed with which Iran can try and block the strait, the extent of time through which it can sustain such a blockade, and on the other hand, how fast the US and Israeli forces can counter it and clear that out of the way. But it will be some time before it can be shipping as usual, because short of an attack, there will be the threat of an attack that certainly will inhibit shipping in that strait.
Rayan, when we speak about foreign intervention, we've seen there's history bears testimony to how US interventionism has escalated the situation in Middle East. Rather, we've seen how the economies of various countries have borne the brunt, whether that is Syria, whether that is Iraq, or even Afghanistan. There are fears now being shared that Iran could also very well head into the same direction or have a similar trajectory. I'd like your thoughts on that concern.
Look, I respectfully disagree, because there are also successful military interventions in history of US wars. For example, you have South Korea is one of them. You have Germany that was liberated by helping from coming from the United States. So you have successful, experiences too. And also, of course, you have unsuccessful experiences. But the difference between, I'm very, that sometimes people compare the Iraq to Iran. That is a false comparison, in my opinion. Sometimes people compare Afghanistan to Iran. Iran is different. Iran is not a tribal society. Iranian people are one of the most educated people in the Middle East. The civic society in Iran is alive, is working. The civil disobedience is working in Iran. And people are active, they are united. People have a very strong sense of nationhood in Iran, which is not even present in Iraq, in Afghanistan. People are very united in Iran. They are not seeing themselves as parts of tribes or as parts of ethnic groups or religious groups. They see first themselves as parts of Iranian nationality, So that is the difference between Iran and Iraq. In Iraq, you had that tribal war because it had a tribal society. But Iran doesn't have that society. Iranian people are very united.
All right.
Yeah.
Stay with me. We also have more inputs coming in.